I once read a quote that stated that if you have a natural talent at something, but you don't work to develop it, people will pass you and they will look like they're better than you, even though you started being better than them. This applies so much to the area of speaking. I've coached many speakers, CEOs, financial executives, and they say, well, when I stand in front of people, I'm good. I'm good at speaking to people. And that may be fine, but if that's all they rely on, then eventually they will see other people who actually train to get better at speaking surpass them. So no matter what you do, if you can speak about it, stand in front of a room and talk, and actually do it with skill, and you work at that, you'll be miles ahead of anyone in your area. So let's just talk today about a few ways to become better at speaking and engage your audience more through your speeches. Simple things that you can do. And I learned it from an unlikely place. I was studying the Masterclass app, and I was in there looking at a masterclass by Judd Apatow. If you don't know who Judd Apatow is, just go Google 40-Year-Old Virgin, Trainwreck, what other movies? Basically any comedy movie. This is 40. He is an absolute genius when it comes to comedy writing, but he actually gave some really good strategies that apply and cross over into the area of professional speaking. So here are just a few things that I learned from watching and studying that masterclass. Number one, study comedy. And when I say study comedy, I didn't say watch comedy. The next time you're watching something funny, whether it's a funny movie or a comedian, have your phone with you, the notes app ready to go. And when you laugh, just ask yourself, why am I laughing? Was it a twist? Was it something relatable? What was it that made you laugh? And chances are, whatever that reason is, if you can apply that to your own speeches, you will make other people laugh as well. And the reason humor is important is because no matter what you're talking about, when you allow people the chance to laugh, they lighten up. And I once heard it said that when people are laughing, what you say sinks in at a deeper level because they're experiencing heightened emotions. So if you can make them laugh, then you have them. And it doesn't mean you have to be a comedian, but every once in a while, if you can uncover some humor in your stories and ask yourself, what is it that makes me laugh? And can I transition that to making my audience laugh? Then you'll be miles ahead of other people who just decide, oh, I'm just going to deliver information and that is it. Number two, hang around with people better than you. This is one of the best tips I can give you to become a better speaker. Ask yourself, who have I seen that is better than I am at speaking? And that may be humbling to ask yourself, but when you get around people who are better than you, who you can learn from all the time, you will automatically raise your level. They say that you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And if you spend your time with people who are better than you in a certain area, maybe it feels intimidating at first, but you will actually get better as you go along. So study speeches online, get around people who are good speakers. If there's someone in your field that is a great communicator, get around them, take them to lunch, study them, learn from them, and you'll get better. The next thing you want to do is set aside some time to think about what you may want to talk about, to think about ideas for new stories, to think about ideas for speeches. John Maxwell is a leadership guru, and he actually wrote a book about the importance of thinking. And if you study anyone who's reached success at any level, they always set aside time to think, to contemplate without any distractions. So that might be going for a walk in nature. That's one of my best and favorite ways to kind of clear my mind and get new ideas flowing. But whatever it is for you, you might sit down, you might journal, have some quiet time every day or at least a few times a week where you sit down and just let the ideas flow. No pressure, but you'll get those ideas. You ever had a problem that you couldn't solve? You go for a walk or you forget about it for a while and then the answer comes to you when you're like in the shower or out for a walk? Well, that's because you stepped away and inadvertently you took time to think, but that helped you to solve your problem. So make that deliberate. Another tip that I learned from studying the masterclass is let people see themselves, find themselves in your story. One thing Apatow was saying in the masterclass is that when he writes a script, he wants to make sure that the audience watching can see themselves in the characters he created. Can I relate to it? Whatever they're going through, can I relate to the feeling? Maybe it's anxiety or self-doubt, whatever it is. Can I see myself in that character? And when you tell stories, when you insert stories into your speeches, understand that even though you may be telling a personal story, you want it to have a universal lesson. So ask yourself, what is the feeling that I had during this personal story? Because what you've gone through, maybe someone else hasn't gone through it, but they probably had similar feelings, whether it's doubt or anxiety or fear, whatever that is. And you can ask them questions. Hey, have you ever felt like this? That's a simple question you can throw into a personal story that now allows your audience to see themselves in your story. And finally, just add your own twist to things. I've coached speakers who like to use quotes, and I'm one of those people. I'm guilty of it. I like to use famous quotes, sometimes not so famous quotes in my speeches, and bring them up because quotes are a nice, simple, short way to drive home an important point. However, don't just stop at giving a quote. Ask yourself, can I put my own spin on this? Can I make it a quote that I put something into? Can I twist it to make it my own quote? Can I say, hey, this person said this, here's my take on it. Or maybe you have a contrarian, an opposite idea that you might be thinking when it comes to that quote. Whatever it is, ask yourself, what's my unique take on this? And when you add that in, it's not just you regurgitating something you found on Google. It's you adding your own flavor to the talk, to the quote, and it makes you more relatable, and it makes the audience say, hey, listen, this person is unique. They're not just regurgitating something they found online. I hope this was helpful. Use these tips. Go look up the masterclass. It was actually very good. And whatever you do, just make sure you're always looking to improve yourself in the area of public speaking. I think it was Warren Buffett who said that public speaking is the most important skill anyone can have. And so as you improve as a communicator, as a speaker, people will see you differently, and all other areas of your life will improve.